I'm 53 years old, and I've been smoking marijuana my whole life. I'm a member of NORML, and I don't have a problem with it. It's my Prozac. It's my it helps me in my daily life. I smoke it every day, and I'm a homeowner. I'm a mother. You know, I'm fine.
Ma'am, you say it helps you in your daily life. Is it for medicinal purposes? Is it prescribed by your doctor?
No.
Do you smoke it with your children?
No.
Mr. Horton?
No.
Well, again, if you look at the science behind why marijuana is illegal, you are, if you have been smoking marijuana for a number of years, you're at increased risk for some respiratory problems. There is lowered immunity in the short and the medium term. I would encourage you to go to either the FDA website or the White House drugpolicy.gov website and look at the various risks that smoking marijuana entails. It is not simply like tobacco. It is, in addition, it's an addictive drug, which tobacco, of course, is as well, but it carries even more risk in many ways. So I would encourage you not to do this and to not only perhaps talk to your doctor, but to seek some help for this, because it is an addictive drug.
Next up is Marathon, Florida, on our line for Republicans. Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead, sir.
I would encourage Mr. Horton to get some help. You know, for years and years and years, you come out with all of these statistics, but the FDA has to have their funding, and of course they're going to agree with what you say. So many people have proven you wrong.
Can I respond to that?
Go right ahead.
You know, actually, and this call is probably one example. My life, and all of our lives, I think, in my office would be a lot easier if we could simply come out and say, you know what, you're right. Smoking marijuana is medicine. But the problem is, that's not what the facts say. There are a lot of people in this country who want the facts to be that smoking marijuana is a medicine, but the FDA, in a non-political way, based on science, took a serious look at this. Now, let's be clear about this. If you go to your doctor and you say, you know what, I'm really in terrible pain, when that doctor considers prescribing an opiate, he doesn't say, you know, I think you should smoke some opium. He prescribes maybe Vicodin or some sort of a pill that has a regulated dosage. Now, there may be components of marijuana. In fact, a recent study in 1999 indicated, and we agree, that there may be some components of marijuana that can be extracted in pill or other form. But one of the biggest problems with medical marijuana is that in this country, where we have the most advanced system of medicine in the history of mankind, we don't smoke our medicines because of the increased risk that has.
Burlingame, California, on our line for Independence. Good morning.
Yes, this is Tom.
Hi, Tom.
I'm concerned that Mr. Horton's getting paid by some Republicans that are not giving him the facts, and he's just spouting what he's paid to spout, whereas Mr. Pierre believes in what he's talking about. He's spent time with people who've suffered and know that marijuana brings them relief. Any response from Mr. Horton?
Well, rest assured, I do believe in what I'm saying. I know that Mr. St. Pierre does as well. We're on opposite sides of the ideological aisle on this. But, you know, the reason that I believe this is because I've looked at the science. Look, I'm actually, in reference to an earlier comment that was made, I came to D.C. fairly recently. I'm actually from Oregon. I spent a lot of time as a prosecutor, and one of the things we do have in Oregon is medical marijuana. I had an opportunity to take a look at both sides of this. Look, we've got a medical system in this country that I think is very good, and it's very important that we be very compassionate about helping people get pain relief. But it's not truly compassionate to tell somebody that something that can harm them in the short to medium term, and certainly in the long term, is a medicine when the science indicates that it's not.
Well, I think at this juncture, it sort of sounds absurd when Americans have a plethora of ads pushed to them every night through popular medium with all of these side effects, which are many, many times worse than anything associated with marijuana. So it's the common sense of the people that clearly is speaking here today and around the country and maybe Tuesday at the ballot box, because they're able to make this delineation in a country where 400,000 drugs are available. There are 11,500 plus studies on marijuana. It's arguably been studied more than the atom. So people at this point have made their minds up regarding whether it's really harmful or not for them.
The Colorado Attorney General criticizes backers of this measure, quote, saying it's an irresponsible and inaccurate message that legalizing marijuana will make Colorado a safer place. What's your response to that?
Well, I guess the reason why the argument is, from our point of view, that it makes it safer is because what happens is 1/3 of people between the age of 18 and 25, despite 70 years of prohibition, use marijuana. Many of those people, when they don't have access to marijuana, they binge drink. And when they binge drink, the problems associated with that are magnitude. We all know the problems associated with it. And so the argument in a state like Colorado that has seen a lot of problems at the University of Colorado and other places with drinking is that if individuals have access to marijuana, they will not binge drink and just use marijuana in moderation, where, as an earlier caller described, the person might laugh a lot.
Let me respond to that if I could. You know, what we should not do is take one problem that is bad and then add another problem and make it worse. One thing that I think Alan and I agree on is that alcohol can lead to problems. It can lead to addiction, it can lead to dependence, it can lead to over-drinking, can certainly lead to death. But take a look at the numbers. There are about 126 million alcohol users in this country. We have about 14.6 million marijuana users. Now, nobody would disagree with the fact that there are problems, both health problems and even driving under the influence of drugs, etc., associated with marijuana use. Do we want to increase, if we want to treat marijuana the same as we treat alcohol, and if we think about the risk of that involving a nearly ninefold increase in marijuana users in this country, is that truly the approach we want to take in this country?
Yeah, well, I think by regulating and controlling it, we can then get the benefits of regulation.
San Diego, California, on our line for Republicans. You're on the Washington Journal.
Good morning. I just want to say to Mr. Horton, I consider myself a Goldwater Republican. I thought that Republicans wanted government out of people's lives. What you are doing, sir, I must tell you, is getting government in our lives from a federal level. I think money would be better spent on people like you to do something at the federal level, like maybe go over to Iraq and help finish off this war instead of worrying what someone's doing in their house smoking pot. Now, I don't smoke that stuff, and I don't even drink anymore. But I tell you what, I've been to parties where people are smoking marijuana. I never saw one fight break out. I go downtown here to San Diego, people are drinking and they're fighting each other. They're getting in accidents. I'd much rather see somebody smoke a marijuana cigarette than drink a bottle of Bacardi 151 or a bottle of tequila.
John Horton.
Well, I'm not quite sure what the question was there, but let me respond to part of that. If you go to treatment centers, drug treatment centers around this country, and as I have in this job, and if you ask people who are there for a problem with cocaine, with heroin, with methamphetamine, whatever it might be, what did you start out with? Now, alcohol and cigarettes are certainly going to be a part of this. I'm preempting my opponent's comments. But you are universally going to see the vast majority of people will say that they started out their illegal drug use with marijuana. What we want to see in this country is we want to see drug use go down because of the social problems that are affiliated with it, especially for youth. We've succeeded in seeing a 19% decline in drug use in this country among teenagers over the last 3 years. We all win when that trend continues.
Our last call comes from Sedona, Arizona, on our line for Democrats. Good morning. Sedona?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Speak up. Go ahead.
Okay. I just think that, the previous caller just took my thunder, but,
They always do.
I have 4 sons, and believe me, I'd rather see them smoke marijuana over drinking alcohol any day. Any day. I see what alcohol does to kids and how dangerous it is for them to be driving under the influence. When they drink, it changes their whole personality. When they smoke pot, maybe they get mellow. What is the crime in that?
Alan St. Pierre.
Well, I think if I'm not incorrect, we did not take a single caller today who disagreed with who agreed with the federal government's position. That needs to be noted. But let's just backtrack a little bit here. Marijuana is not a gateway drug. It is the first illegal drug that people use because after 70 years of prohibition and the DARE program and the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, it doesn't work. People are in treatment for marijuana not because they want to go there for marijuana, Mr. Horton. As you well know, we have things called drug courts today. And when you go to the drug court, they give you a choice, a Hobson's choice, between going to treatment or going to jail. I, of course, like you, would go to treatment. So it's a very false set of data to put out here that people are going to treatment for marijuana. It just simply isn't the case.